edition of Contracting Chatter. Yes, so let your business associates and business besties know we're live. Share this to your platform. Get your contracting notebooks out. Your favorite beverage. I haven't made my coffee yet, so I'm doing without mine. But that doesn't mean you have to do without yours. And sit down because we have some a conversation to have. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yesterday we talked about compliance and what that meant. I was going to pick up on that and finish that conversation because a comment was made on TikTok, and I kind of got distracted by that comment towards the end. But I'm going to stick with um, my topic for today. Then I'm going to finish up tomorrow on compliance. I'm going to wrap up the whole week tomorrow. Then I'm going to pick back up next week on compliance and compliance plans. Last night, I was in a training around corporate structures, and the guy is excellent. I'm restructuring my company to match what my original corporate structure is was supposed to be. And it goes back to what I had said Tuesday about when people, and it's a phrase of mine, and if anybody uses it, I'm coming after you. Just because somebody can't see your vision doesn't mean you need glasses. And I really wish I had coined that phrase and was using that phrase or walking into that when I first started my business, because I allowed somebody to change my vision, or I allowed myself, I allowed somebody's opinion to cause me to doubt myself. Because originally, my original vision for my company is what I'm going with. So I am going with a total restructure of my company. And it's just that I'm in a women's group, and she had a surprise guest speaker last night. And the surprise guest speaker last night was talking about company restructuring. Well, it wasn't company restructuring, it was company redesignation, is what we'll call it. And it was such a timely conversation because he was just spot on. So he will be, I'm inviting him to be a guest on my podcast. So the invitation is going out as soon as I log off this morning, because I think his information is accurate. And a lot of people just aren't fully aware, and they start their businesses off incorrect. And it goes back to what I was saying yesterday. People are non compliant, or people are operating in a way or in a manner that are not in alignment with the rules and regulation, and they don't know it because it's something somebody told them to do versus doing the research and understanding it's something, or it should be something that they should be doing. And there's two different things: understanding what you should be doing and understanding operating from the viewpoint of this is something that you should be doing, this is the rules and regulations, this is how it works, per the government agency is different from this is what everybody says and this is how it works. And far too often, there's too much of this. Everybody says this is how it's done. That is why over here we have complete conversations. And I strive to bring experts in and I strive to source power partners who can complete the conversation. Because even those who are working in their business that have been in their business for 10, 15 years, this is something I learned when I started my business and I was sitting in rooms with people who have been in business 10, 15 years. They even talked about they source consultants and coaches and they've learned they were doing things incorrectly. They were doing things that were detrimental to their business and they course corrected. There is no such thing as I've been doing business this way and that's just the way it is. And if that is the way you do business, then I dare say you're doing your business a disservice. It and you're not living up to your financial responsibility to your business if that is how you're conducting business. Everyone periodically should be reassessing how they're doing business. And I will repeat this until you either get tired of me or until you make course corrections. Just because somebody is your accountant when you start doesn't mean that's your accountant when you finish. Good morning, Ron. You there are times when you have to adjust. There are times because your business changes. And I'm gonna go here. Just because they were giving you good tax advice on day one doesn't mean they're still giving you good tax advice on day 471. But back to the training I was in last night. He gave some great advice on LLC versus C Corp, on taxation of C Corps. Um, it was just a great training. Awesome, awesome training. So, yes, I'm going to have him as a guest on the podcast. And he's going to, you know me, I'm I'm gonna bring the information, and he's agreed to be on. I'm gonna even see if he'll do an episode of Chatter because he does go live on his platform at 8 o'clock. So maybe he'll just go live on Chatter and then springboard onto his platform at 8 o'clock. So maybe that's how we'll do that. And then I'll just use that Chatter episode as a podcast episode. But he is an awesome resource and it was a great training. So I just had to share that. It was just an amazing training last night on company structure, and he will be a guest on the podcast. And probably more than likely, I'll see if he'll just come on Chatter and we'll just multi use the content. Anyway, so but corporate company structure, corporate company compliance is the ultimate in importance. So, but I couldn't get away from the whole passing of the TikTok bill yesterday. It seems like everywhere I logged on, including Facebook, they were talking about the passage of the TikTok bill. So I was on a Discord, and they was talking about TikTok bill. So I'm gonna read the bill and see what it actually says and doesn't say, and debrief it and what it means. Exactly what does it mean? And I do know this. There's two versions of TikTok. And I've always known this. There's two versions of TikTok. There's the TikTok that's seen here in America, and there's TikTok that's everywhere else. The American TikTok is the cappy, quirky, nonsensical TikTok we see. And the TikTok that's everywhere else seems to be the more um, scientifically driven, more thought provoking driven. And I know that because my algorithm, I follow a variety of people, and I also follow like BBC foreign things. So my algorithm has a nice mix. And on several of my comment sections, because I do read the comment sections, people not American comment about how American stuff flows. And of course, I was engaging in the comment section, and their TikTok looks totally different, which led me to look into it. And Chinese TikTok is totally different. Their young people cannot sit on, they have to verify their age, their parents have to verify their age. They can only sit on TikTok for X number of minutes at a time. They push their FYP, push science and technology stuff versus the dance stuff on our side. So I do know there's a difference between American TikTok and the TikTok that is seen globally. So I just couldn't get away from the bill. So I'm gonna look into it and see what it means from a business perspective. No business should rely on one platform. It's just that simple. Diversify your marketing. Diversify your strength. I know a lot of businesses operate off a TikTok shop, and I believe it's because mainly TikTok shop does not charge a fee just for simply existing. I know Shopify charges a monthly fee, which can be pricey if you're just starting out. Etsy charges a 40 cents per product fee per month, just the list. And then they charge a fee per purchase on top of the credit card processing fee. TikTok Shop doesn't charge a fee just for having the shop. I'm not sure what their fee structure looks like once the orders are placed. So TikTok Shop was a quick way for a lot of businesses to get up, started, and running. I understand that. However, no business should just run off of one platform. And a lot of times people get so busy running their business until they never stop to operate their business. They get so stuck working in their business, they never graduate into sitting into the CEO seat and start operating their business. They don't make executive decisions. Their business is running them versus them running their business. So it never occurs to them that, okay, we need to have this revenue stream or customers coming in from another source. So I believe that's really the source of the panic. They're like, my business is going to get shut down. What do I do? And my solution is book a call and we'll come up with a strategy, because you have 5 months, according to what I've heard. You have 5 months to establish your business presence somewhere else. You already have a loyal fan base. We can develop a strategy where you can keep your loyal fan base and expand it. So let's book a call and create that strategy, and we can move forward. No one should be operating their business in a spirit of fear. No one. We didn't even figure out a way to win a government contract and keep it going. But that goes back to being and operating in compliance with your total business mission, your total business drive, and your total business vision of what did you start your business for in the first place. And a lot of people get so busy running the business until the business ends up running them and they become non-compliant with themselves, let alone a whole plethora of other things, because a lot of them TikTok shops are non-compliant with copyright infringements and a plethora of other things. I also have a guest planned. We need to set a date. She's going to come on and talk about copyright infringements. And it's easy to step on other people's copyrights and not even realize it. Using and Disney copyrights get infringed upon all the time. I know a lot of the major brands have someone run copyright infringements multiple times a year. And when they catch people violating their copyright, they send out a cease and desist and they don't care who you are. They will shut it down. And all of this running a shaming campaign on them, if you have a big platform, what they will do is send a partnering agreement. If you don't, they send a cease and desist. And one group of girls, they had the opportunity to just partner with Disney. They didn't want to do that. And what they did is shot them in the foot, because guess what? Disney is too big to be shamed. And even with what's going on, this is before the current boycott with Disney. Disney was like, oh, that's fine. Stop. And they ended up losing out all the way around. So copyright infringement is easier to do than a lot of people realize. And we should all be copywriting our stuff. I know I need to copyright some things. I have a lot of things coming down the pike, and she has been on me about copywriting it before I release it. And I'm going to copyright a lot of things before I release it. So she's coming on the platform to talk about copywriting and protecting your assets, as she calls it. So yeah, Chatter has a lot of things coming that is beneficial to the business community. And we're talking about trademarking, copywriting, and government contracts. I know that's a nice twist because that comes up a lot of times in government contracts. Who owns the final trademark and copyright in government contracts? And it can get murky if you're not on your P's and Q's. It can get murky if you're not crossing all your T's and dotting your I's and watching the commas and semicolons. And assuming it's spelled out in the actual contract is a bad move. I remember an audit, the company I worked for bought a company, and it wasn't spelled out as clearly as people assumed. And it was the company I worked for bought a small company, and that small company didn't, it wasn't spelled out that clearly in the contract. So it caused a little bit of a headache. I don't know what the outcome of that was because I wasn't in legal. However, I do know it caused, when people saw it and it came up, there was a whole lot of sighing and eye rolling. So, trademarking and copywriting and who owns what is does occur in government contracting. And it needs to be spelled out at every step of the way. If it's a subcontract, who owns it? The subcontractor or the prime? And then who owns it in the final work? The prime or the government? That needs to be spelled out. And it should not be assumed. It needs to be stated clearly in the contract. Who has the final rights to the final work? Needs to be spelled out, not assumed. It doesn't matter. It matters what the RFP says. However, it needs to be clearly stated in the final contract. And the final contract needs to run through legal. And anyone who says I can't afford an attorney, I will tell you, you can't afford government contracting. Government contracting is very lucrative, but it can be very expensive in the front end. Point blank, 10 toes down, period. You have to invest in it if you wish to reap the benefits from it. So I'm just going to stop there because there's so much more I can say on it, but I'm not. I'm going to just leave the conversation right there. So join me tomorrow morning as I wrap up this entire week content, conversation, and we're going to highlight what's coming up next week. So enjoy this beautiful day here in Charlotte. It's on schedule to be 81. I don't know what the rest of the country is going to be like. The sun is already beautifully in the sky. So I want my listening audience to take some time to enjoy this day. Get out of the office. Eat your lunch in the park. Eat your lunch on the bench outside of your office. Just enjoy the sun because this year, we all know it's going to be a bit of a political upheaval. But that doesn't mean your business has to be in an upheaval. That is what contracting chatter is for. That is why you source great consultants such as myself to help your business ride the storm. So you can be one of the ones who weather it well. I'm your host, Luciana Turner, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for another edition of Contracting Chatter. Have an amazing, amazing day.